Here on CarTorque with Matty J, another Tuesday night. Big show tonight, full house as well. We've got James from Established. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
We've got Tyron.
Yeah, where?
Paul.
Hi.
And we've also got James from Memphis Movies as well here.
What's up?
Not much. Big show tonight. We've got a few topics. We're going to talk about, obviously it's winter, we're going to talk about driving in the snow. We're going to talk about Tyron's new vehicle. But first of all, we're going to start off with the TV show The Bachelor. Now, I think it's a bit of a case of identity theft because the new Bachelor's name is Matty J. So I don't want to be confused with The Bachelor. And I was watching the the TV ad. And,
What's he drive?
Well, I don't know. That's the big question. But
Why don't we get him on the show?
yeah, Matty J versus Matty J. It came up with Matty J, the same spelling and everything. How I do mine. I'm just like far out. Like I'm getting copied here. So please, I am in no way associated with this crappy show. I hate making shows about crap like that. So I'm not that famous. So I'm the real Matty J. So will the real Matty J please stand up? But I thought I'd just start the show with a bit of a joke like that. Have you guys seen the ad?
Nah, man, I don't watch that shit.
Well, for those of you at home who are thinking about watching it, I am not the same Matty J, so I thought I'd start with that. But anyway, we'll move on. Tyrone, you've bought a new car.
Yes, I have.
Because the last time we had you on, we were talking about you were interested in the Genesis,
Yes.
and what was the other car? SRT Jeep.
Yes, it was.
It was, yeah.
Yes, it was.
But you've gone a bit of a different direction.
Yeah, I have. That was I do like the Genesis still.
Yeah.
But I sort of changed my way, as in because I wanted to sort of get a towing capacity out of my car that I've wanted to invest in. So I sort of went towards the Ford Ranger Wildtrack.
That's a very good choice.
Late last year, I don't know what happened to me. I just drove down to Ford, and I asked them, I go, do you have any Ford Rangers in stock? And they go, yeah, we do have one for a test drive. So I went and took it for a test drive.
Was it a Wildtrack you tested?
Yeah, it was a Wildtrack. So I took it down, drove it, I liked it, and then my reason behind getting it was I do want to get a boat eventually.
Yeah.
So I started off by saying that, yes, I do. I need a car that could tow the boat.
Yeah.
And I did hear a lot of good reviews on the Ranger. I did compare it with the Hilux. I compared it with the Nissan Navara.
So you went and sat in a Hilux, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I did sit in the Hilux, but I didn't really like the Hilux. It was too... First of all, the sound system looked like it was just bought out of nowhere and just chucked on top.
Yeah.
That's it. It wasn't inbuilt. It didn't look inbuilt. It is inbuilt, but it didn't look inbuilt.
It looked cheap.
It looked very cheap. And everything is sort of like, if you take a photo of the Hilux and you take a photo of a Camry, it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
There's nothing different in it. So,
6-inch lift.
I just went down, had a drive with the Ranger, and I literally fell in love with it straight away. I took my fiance down there. She liked it as well. And yeah, literally that day we just bought it, and
there you go.
And he told me it was going to be 2 months away, and then the next probably 2 days later he called me up and he goes, "You know what? I've got one in stock waiting for you. It's coming down." So they got it ready.
Same colour and everything?
Same colour that I wanted. Everything was in there. So I probably picked it up just before Christmas last year.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and then later on I found out that there was probably a million things that you could do to this car. You can modify it from God knows where. So I started off slowly, changed the wheels, added a what's it called? A lag controller. So I cut off the lag from the accelerator to the engine, and I have added LED lights to it. Yeah, and just gonna go along and do that. It's a really good car. I use it for work daily, and everyone that sees me in there, they know that I'm here at work, because no matter where I park, you can see this car from anywhere. And so everyone has asked me about it. People have asked me as well who do want to get a four-wheel drive, and they've asked me how better. I tell them, look, so far I've had no problems with it at all.
Yeah.
And I just love the car. That's it. That's basically it.
Yeah, it's good to see.
And like I have changed the LED lights on my car.
Yes.
And you've witnessed it yourself.
I was waiting for you to come pick me up tonight to come on the show, and all I just see in the distance, like, because where I live, it's like a curved road. I just see lights And like you can just see it coming, and it's just bright, and you look at it in front of you, it's like, oh my god, it's blinding. So, but that's not even with the light bar and stuff he's putting on yet. So that's like his next step. That and a lift kit, I think will be in the future.
Yeah, we'll be there.
But in comparison to like the SR5 Hilux, which you tested, did you actually drive the Hilux as well?
Yeah, I did. Okay. I did actually test drive it, and
it didn't drive as nice.
No, it didn't feel comfortable inside.
Okay.
For some reason. I don't know why, whether it was the seats or whether how the suspension was or what. It didn't feel comfortable at all. And I didn't like the shape of it. Like the front of the car looks like it looks like a duck nose. if you can picture it. It looks too rounded at the front.
Yeah.
And then I was reading on the specs and stuff, and even the towing capacity, it's probably 500 kilos less than the Ranger. The Ranger, actually, I just looked it up recently. The Ranger is actually in the range of a Range Rover and the Jeep SRT8 for towing capacity.
Holy crap, I didn't know.
So yeah, they've actually boosted that up.
Yeah.
But whereas the Nissan Navara and the Hilux and the BT50 are sort of in the lower range.
See, that's weird because the BT50 and the
Ranger is exactly the same thing. Exactly, but I don't know why they've reduced the towing capacity for it on that.
It's a bit of a weird one. Look, we'll continue this right after this. You're back on Car Talk with Matty J. It's 98.9 Northwest FM. That was Duke Dumont and Gorgon City Real Life. Really cool track, that one. I heard that one recently, so I thought I'd play it on the show. All right, so back into talking about with Tyron with his new Ranger. So you obviously tested the other cars.
Yeah.
You chose it over the towing.
Yeah.
And obviously because even the BT50 had only 3 ton.
Yeah.
So was that the main selling point because it can do it?
It was sort of in my range that I wanted to do something that wanted to have something that could tow.
Yeah.
A decent amount.
Yeah.
Because literally at the moment I don't know what size boat I want to get, so it just depends.
that's the next step.
Exactly. It just depends on how big I want to go now. But I did also look at some other things that the fuel economy was pretty good. They said around about 9 litres on the highway, and
do you get that in it as well?
At the moment, because I drive it, not that great, but I get around about 10 litres per tank. Yeah,
it's not for such a big car, though.
Exactly.
It's a big car.
Yeah, and it's pretty good. And I have changed the tyres on it. I've got all-terrain tyres from stock, so I've got used to driving with them and stuff. So I found it pretty. It's a very nice car, and it surprisingly just fits in my garage.
Yeah,
literally just.
I've seen this. You have literally.
It's probably
half a centimetre away.
It's probably if I take it all, I can only reverse it, park it. Yeah. So I'll take it all the way to the back of the garage, and I probably got about maybe 10 centimetres in the front, away from the door. So that's another reason why I couldn't go with an aftermarket tow bar. An aftermarket bull bar at the front. Because
it's just not close.
It won't fit in the garage. So I do have to go with a small nudge bar, but then that sort of helps me because then I can put my LED bar and my spotlights on it. So
you know what that means? You got to start pushing out the garage backwards so you can fit it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the next step.
Now during the break, Paul was saying about with towing ratings. You want to give us a bit more about that?
A lot of manufacturers recommends that their car can tow, let's say 3.5 tons. It probably will.
It'll do it.
How long is it going to last for?
Exactly.
That's the big one.
It's usually that automatic transmission that fails a lot of the time.
Or the clutches start to go on the manual.
Yeah.
Because they just can't take the abuse.
Yeah.
So I remember watching a video years ago of when VW first released the Touareg, and do you remember towing a plane? Yeah, it was pretty. It was a pretty big ad campaign, the power of Touareg. But apparently, and this is no word of a lie, that they couldn't brake after towing it, couldn't use the brakes in the car because they just would have destroyed the brakes.
Yep.
So it just had to eventually just roll to a stop. That just thinking about that, considering what you're going to be towing like a boat and stuff, it's going to put a lot of pressure on your brakes.
Yep.
So would you consider beefing all that up because they still got drums on the rear of the
yes, they do.
Yeah.
That's why I was surprised as well because I had to look at the brakes. I was trying to look at for the rear brakes and go, what the hell? I can't see nothing. And then I realized, it's drum brakes at the back too. So I mean, I've got people at work that have used the Ranger for towing boats, and they said it's you cannot feel that you're towing something when you're driving on a highway. It's just so smooth. There's no lag. There's no weight. There's no weight at the back. You can't really feel like you're trying to struggle to pull up anything. And you chuck it on cruise control, and because it's got adaptive cruise control, it just slows down, goes fast, and
that's what it
does everything, literally everything by itself.
The first time I went out, I didn't realize especially the Wildtrack had so much tech. It blew me away.
Yeah.
Like if you dart out of a lane, it corrects itself, and it's
your missus yet? This alarm system guy.
Oh yeah. Oh well.
Tonight.
Driving to the show. Just
a person decided to go in front of us.
Exactly, just cut in front of us, and the alarms go off obviously, so that's a wake up call. But then the brakes prime itself, so you can literally feel like as soon as you tap on the brakes, it sort of just locks on the brakes, and it primes it to as hard as impact as what it's going to do. What's going to do, yeah. And every time I do come, there's a certain distance on it. If I do come pretty close to the car, I'll get warning lights at the front telling me that I'm pretty close to the car. And
there's a little things like that. It's cool.
There's a lot of things that are good. I've got air pressure tire monitors and everything. Everything's standard in that. So it's. I mean, I know people complain about the price tag on it, but if you look at it,
for what you're getting,
it is a pretty good. It's a pretty good car.
Yeah. No, well, see, you're not the first person to really like the Ranger, especially the Wildtrack anyway, because there's just so much tech and. But not only the tech, it's so far they've seemed to be quite durable. Like I've heard some little cases here.
I have heard as well.
But a lot of other car companies have got the same issues. Like especially like the previous generation Hiluxes with the injectors, which just kept failing. And obviously we're talking about before the break the Navaras with the Renault engines had a few issues there. So I mean, like every car has their kind of issue, but I guess when you get on top of them, they'll treat you well.
They do, yeah.
We'll move on tonight. Anyway, so with Paul in here, he's our resident snow weather expert. Had a drive of the snow.
I've been to the snow about 6 times in the past, maybe 10 years.
Okay, yeah.
So I have a little bit of experience. I've taken different cars to the snow. I live in Melbourne, so we go to Mount Buller or a little bit further.
You go to Hotham and stuff as well?
Yeah, we have been there a couple of times. They're all pretty much the same. You're just driving up a hill with snow.
Yeah.
And depending on the car that you're driving, you need to apply different strategy. Basically,
techniques,
If you have a rear wheel drive car with summer tires, and that's what we use in Australia,
bring a set of underwear like you told me during the break.
You need,
See anyone eating tofu up there?
Eating tofu. The Kubi Fujira.
Probably 4-wheel drive car is the best.
Yeah,
even if the 4-wheel drive car's got summer tires, it's still a lot better than any 2-wheel drive car.
See, that's what I was actually thinking to myself just a couple of days ago. I go, what if I took the Ranger on the snow? Like, I was actually thinking, I said, you know what, I might go to Mount Buller and just drive it up.
Suss it out,
and I want to take it and see how it goes. Like, I know it's got all-terrain tires in it, but like, how would it go? Because I know it's a front-wheel drive car for the Ranger, but I can settle on 4-wheel drive as well. So it just, I don't know how. I haven't really seen any videos of people taking it in the snow or testing it. So that's something I would want to do.
You would consider, yeah. I mean, there's always you can do that, or go to your local 4-wheel drive track and just practice as well. So that'd be cool ways of getting used to it in different conditions.
Yep.
Front-wheel drive car is a lot better in the snow than rear. Unless you are an expert, a front-wheel drive is a lot better. This is why every time we go, you see a lot of 4-wheel drives. For example, Subarus, or even Camrys.
Yep.
Camry may
always there.
Camry may not be very exciting car, but when you go to the snow, it's quiet, it's economical, reliable, and it's front-wheel drive car.
Yep.
You can fit snow chains to it, and I do recommend snow chains.
Oh yeah.
And
but isn't it mandatory to have the snow chains, especially if you're getting like into Buller and that?
It depends on the day.
Yeah. Okay.
If they reckon the snow will be falling, you must get snow chains. For example, you hire the snow chains from a shop.
Yep.
And it's up to you to fit it.
So do you have to fit it, or you just have to have it in the car? Because the last time I went to Buller, they were like to us, "Oh, it's snowing today, but if you just have them in the car, you probably wouldn't need them because as long as you got them in the car." Like, well, what's the point of having them in then?
It also depends on the day. Sometimes you must have it in the car, but you don't have to fit it. But sometimes you have to have it fitted because if you don't fit it, you can get fined for it.
Oh, really?
I think they have stops on the way where the people tell you if it's too bad or not.
And And normally they are the standard snow chains. I think they call diamond cut.
Okay.
So steel chains.
Yeah.
Fitting it's not that easy.
Yeah, exactly,
Most of the time, the person that hires the chains will help you, show you a couple of times, but when your hands are cold and it's cold at night, you don't see anything, you haven't done it.
Exactly.
It's not that easy. But most of the time, people that go to snow, they've done it a few times, and they always help you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's like kind of camaraderie. In like a tricky situation, people will always say, "Okay, I'll give you a hand how to try help it," which is pretty good. But with the snow chains, as I said, I've never done it. I've never actually driven in the snow. Like I've been in a car driven to the snow. So would it damage the wheels in the car? Can they like rattle across and scratch them and stuff? Or
I can tell you from my experience, we have taken a VF SV6 Commodore manual.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Scary. It wasn't. Maybe. It's probably fun for people to watch it. It's not fun for the driver.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
LSD everywhere.
Yes. Commodores have extremely tight limited slip diff.
Yeah.
And the car's got standard Bridgestone tyres, 245s, 18-inch. Fitting the snow chains to that tyres, it's not recommended according to the factory manual, but we could fit the chains without any problems. They don't rub at all.
Good.
Yeah, the car is not lowered, just standard suspension. You can fit the snow chains to a VF SV6 Commodore without any problems. The car in the snow drives a lot better. At least you know that the car is going to be controllable.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's going to be at least predictable because if you don't have that, you're just gonna hit the brakes. You're just gonna keep sliding. Whereas if you've got the chains, you're gonna have some grip, and it's gonna chew into the road, I guess.
The chains are fitted to the driving wheels, which is the rear in a Commodore. And for example, if you look at before you go, check your insurance, because some cars, for example, the VF Commodore may have a problem with the chains if you have an accident. Yeah.
So they won't cover you.
Probably not.
Really? I didn't know that.
So anyone that's going to the snow, please check your insurance policy if you can fit snow chains, if you're going to be covered.
Yeah. So I guess it's a good CarTorque top tip by Paul there. So make sure you are covered if you're putting snow chains on your particular car.
Yeah.
So I'd say phone your phone your insurer, because you don't want to be like, I've crashed in the snow. Well, you haven't snow chains. Oh yeah, I was trying to. Oh, sorry, you're not covered.
Yep.
Or even check the instruction manual from your own car.
Yeah, it'll tell you in there. Do not fit snow chains.
I think on the normal VF Commodore with the 16-inch wheels or 17, it is okay.
Yeah.
But on an SV6
with the 18s,
it's probably not. But they do fit without any problems.
Yeah.
Now, Paul, a question for you. Now, when you're driving in the snow, are you actually driving on a road that's snowy, or are you driving in, say, snow that's, say, this high?
Look, when we went there, it was the worst time to go, and I was scared a lot. Okay, it started to snow really, really badly, so the whole road was covered with snow. There was about maybe 5 centimeters of snow, and underneath that, there was black ice.
Wow!
So it was the worst case scenario in a Commodore.
So you dig through this sort of mulch and then go straight into ice.
Yeah, because the Commodore's got very tight diff. You don't go forward, you go sideways. Even when you're parking the car,
you're crabbing.
Yeah, you just go sideways, so you don't know what you're gonna hit. And because of black ice underneath snow,
it's just got no
even
grip.
worse.
Yeah,
it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
But as soon as you fit the chains and you drive 30 k's an hour,
change the car.
Yeah, it's completely. Yeah, you can hear the noises and the car vibrates, but it's at least you're not gonna hit anything really.
Yeah.
I think you got to take like an R32 GTR with side pipes just to, make sure you melt the ice as you're driving on it to get the grip that you need.
Or just take my F6 up there and it will just fall off. I wouldn't even have to hit boost, I'll be falling off.
That's another, on the topic of that, there's a feature I noticed in the Ranger when I was going to work one day and it was -2 degrees early in the morning. And there was a yellow sign on the side and I wondered what it was. And it actually warns you. It actually warns you when the temperature drops below 2 degrees, it actually comes on saying that it's very cold outside, so to be careful.
Jeez.
They also have an electric heater that heats the motor.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
In like colder weather, because of diesel,
Diesel,
Diesel, yeah, exactly.
And it just turns on automatically.
Yeah, it just turns
Otherwise, the diesel will become freeze and molten, molten.
Far out.
So
that's a cool feature.
Electrical feature.
Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff.
It's like, I think it's called power heat or something. So it heats up the motor, heats up the fuel lines, makes sure everything running well.
No way.
Yeah.
You probably need different diesel as well when you go there, like Alpine diesel, I think it's called. Okay. So it doesn't.
Yeah, they changed the freezing point.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you can buy like an additive as well to put in your diesel tank. Well, we sell it at super cheap. Yeah, so we'd definitely be able to.
Now, Paul actually stayed there overnight. So how did you find starting the car the next day?
Because the car is pretty new, it doesn't have any problems with start.
Yeah.
Plus, before every trip, I just recharge the battery. I don't want to get stuck in the snow with cold.
That's one place you don't get stuck.
Yeah.
No, that's that.
Well, I wonder what it would be like to taking, some sort of high performance car there. The cold start would be pretty loud.
Oh yeah, just the whole place would be echoing. Jeez, if my brother's XS6 Turbo was there, it would be just like the whole place would be like shaking.
Especially if you're in like unusual, you put your foot down, you get all this just black stretch of push all this snow everywhere.
Yeah. So was your car covered when you went there? Like when you went out, it was just it wasn't okay.
No. But I had a choice back then. I got a BMW M135i, and that's got 18-inch wheels on the back with 245s, and there's no physical room to fit chains.
So I see the Commodore was the only option. Yeah,
that was the only option.
Did you take your MPS up there when you went there once?
I have, but I didn't need to didn't need to borrow the chains.
Okay.
So I think it was about maybe -3, -4 degrees. It started. It drove like a normal car without any problems. I think I had lowered suspension, tune, and stuff like that back then. But the car didn't have any problems. It was just cold, but no black ice or snow. Yeah. So it was without any problems.
So you had like possibly the worst conditions: black ice, underneath snow. In a VF Commodore with the tight LSD.
Manual
too, yeah. So you'd have to be just super smooth with the clutch, otherwise you'd just be all over the place.
How was the R36 though?
Actually, that was another problem. R36 it's a Volkswagen Passat R36 station wagon. It's lowered a lot.
Yeah, they're pretty low from factory.
But he's got KW V3 suspension coilovers. Yeah. And even on the highest setting, he can't fit the chains.
But they're all-wheel drive, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
So he would have gotten away with it, I guess, in some.
On that particular day, you needed the chains.
Okay.
No matter what,
Yeah.
But he couldn't fit them.
He couldn't fit them really. It would probably damage the panels of the car.
Car
like on depending if the car is rear-wheel drive or two-wheel drive. Sometimes you must have the chains for all the cars inside the car. But
at all times,
only two-wheel drive cars need to have them fitted.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a four-wheel drive car, it's a lot better. You must have the chains, for example, but you don't need to fit them yet.
Okay.
So it's a lot easier. So taking any four-wheel drive car to the snow, it's a lot better a lot easier.
Yeah, I had no idea. I thought regardless, you'd have to put them on if they got to that stage. But that actually surprised me quite a fair bit. So how did he fare compared to like you with chains? Was he a bit all over the place as well, even with the all drive?
He left the car.
He left it.
He left the car at the place, at the bottom, and he took my friend's. I think it was a Nissan or Toyota bigger all drive car.
Well,
yeah.
So he left it at the bottom and
he left it at the bottom.
There you go.
He wasn't gonna prepare. He wasn't prepared to get his car damaged.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough too. Yeah, well, it's a big risk, causing a ton of panel damage and making a real big mess of the place. Yeah, it's especially with a car like that. Parts are quite pricey, especially on an R36. So you'd probably best just to leave it and get another ride up there.
Yeah, even damaged panels on any car in Australia, it's extremely expensive because everyone charges $200-300 per hour of work.
Easy.
And then paint. Yeah. So, it will be very expensive to fix. Even a Commodore, some people didn't fit the chains properly to Commodores, and they got everything damaged in the wheel wells, and it was very, very costly for them.
Yeah, it would be. So, tips to fitting them. To fitting snow chains. I've never done it before, so do you have to like roll the car forward to get them underneath and stuff?
Yeah, when you just fitted it, you need to roll it forward, retighten it, and then drive a little bit more,
and
check it 3 times, and I think the best tip is get someone that is experienced and have done it before, and just check it a few times if you're not sure.
So you can't jack it up at the bottom and put them on, or
you probably only jack it up if you get the chains tangled up. Because that happens a lot.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, that was going to be my next question. If they get all mixed up.
When you do buy when you're hiring the snow chains from the guys, they do tell you how to put them on, and there is a a way, a special technique to put them on, because there's an opening and one sort of on the radius of the chains where you got to put them on a certain way, and then you roll the car a bit forward, which brings that opening up, and then you just clip on or you tighten on the chains, and then you sort of drive forward, and then they say to check it every stop. Okay. You can to check to see if there's nothing loose or anything about that.
How much are they to rent?
Last time I remember, I went like 10 years ago, and they were like $50. So I don't know if it's around the same money or.
I think it's a bit less now. It's about $35-40.
Okay.
Is there
that's not too bad.
Speed rating?
What's the most you can go on? Like 30 k's?
Between 30 and 40.
Yeah.
But if you care for your car, I wouldn't go more than 30 because there's so much vibration.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just
Rattle the
bad
crap out of
for your
everything.
shock absorbers in the car.
So I guess that's another CarTorque top tip. Don't drive too fast.
It's like going low range in a full.
Yeah, pretty much. Just you'll get there eventually. Just you got to remember your car's your form of transport to get there. So don't trash it in that
and
aspect.
I don't think you'd probably be able to even go any faster than that on the mountain, because it's pretty steep around the corners and stuff, and you'll be having a lot of. It depends on the time of the day. Obviously, you go. There'll be a lot of cars there as well. So
I've seen people with the snow chains going about 50, 60 k's an hour.
No way.
I have seen that at night.
Must be in the rush for the tofu, yeah.
The tofu, it must be chasing a Celica in the snow.
That's right.
Look, we've got to get to another break. We'll be right back after this. That was Fake Magic that's Peking Duck featuring Luna George. Really cool track, that one. Big fan of Luna George. So hopefully they come to Melbourne soon. I'll go see them. You're back on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is Car Talk with Matty J. We're going to get to the car quiz. So they were just having a bit of a debate who was going to do the quiz. And I think Paul's lost, so I think Paul's going to have to do it. He's not happy about it. Look, I'll give you guys...
we'll help him.
You can help him, all right? So this is the famous Car Talk car quiz. Question 1. True or false? The Ford Crown Victoria chassis was a ladder frame.
You can also pass.
You can also pass and come back to it.
I think it was a monocoque.
Nah, it's false. It was a ladder frame construction. Question 2. The Ferrari Testarossa came out in what decade?
1980s.
Yes, correct. What configuration was the Testarosa's engine in?
Flat 12.
It was a flat 12. Question 4. The original Toyota Paseo came out with what size engine?
1.6.
1.5. Ooh, close. Feel bad doing that.
You should ask a follow-up question in that case.
Yeah.
Point 1.
Question 5. Honda Civics began production in what decade?
1970s.
That's correct. Question 6. SUV is the abbreviation of what?
Sports utility vehicle.
That is correct. Question 7. What year did Ford originally win Le Mans?
1960s. Maybe 1963.
All right.
65 maybe.
66. I'll give you half a point. Because you got the decade right.
It was the GT40.
GT40, that's correct. Question 8. The current SS Commodore uses what version of the LS?
Currently?
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, LS3, that's correct. Question 9. True or false? The final Chevy SS was made earlier this year. So the Chevy SS is the Commodore that people in the States can get.
I think so.
It is true, yes. Question 10. Mazda 3 is celebrating what this year?
I think they came out in 2005.
But they're celebrating... Mazda's celebrating the Mazda 3/323 range for what reason this year?
Pass.
Pass? It's the last question, so that's it. Can you guys help?
I don't know.
No clue?
No.
They're celebrating 40 years of Mazda 3/323 production. So
40
years, yeah. It's this year. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5. Not too bad, Paul. There were some hard ones in there. So that is honestly a really, really good effort.
Should do 2 quizzes, man. This guy has to go.
Next time you're done, Tyron.
All right, next time.
Yeah, all right, next time. So that was a good effort. Nothing to be ashamed of there, Paul. 'Cause that was a really
That was good.
I think that's everyone's average, to be honest. Like,
It is.
everyone gets a 6.5 at some point.
I think I got 7 for like my quiz when like my friends quizzed me that one episode, and I shouldn't have let that happen because like I'm the quiz guru here. So I started yelling hacks and saying this is crap. But anyway, we'll move on.
Questions like how many wheels does a Reliant Robin have?
How many bolts is there on an FPV F6 exhaust? Well, look, we'll move on. James, you were at the auctions today.
Yeah, it was.
So Carlin's, which is a dealer auction.
Yeah, it was a Prestige on Tuesday.
Yep. So just seeing what cars go for. Anything real cool and funky today?
So as soon as I walk in, I see this Land Cruiser.
75 series, wasn't it?
79 series.
79 series, okay.
And like they look old school as always. Like it looks like something out of the 70s or 80s, but it's a 2015 model, and like they're doing this like a retro look, which is I think also carried out by the Jeeps do this as well. Range Rovers,
it's a retro
and
thing.
Even the G Wagons, they just look old school, But it looks really cool, to be honest. And other than that, I guess there was a Panamera there. Like they're not that cool, but.
I don't see everyone hates them. Like I didn't like them either when they came out. I thought they were a bit, but they've kind of grown to me. I don't know if you guys feel the same way with the Panamera. The back's still a bit how you going, but I like the front, and I reckon and inside they're a really nice car.
You get used to it.
You get used to it, yeah. Yeah,
even if something is really ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
The usual. The Mustang was there, so I think Paul was talking about the Mustangs to me earlier today, and that was there. That was all right.
Was it a 5.0 or?
Yeah, it was a 5.0.
Yeah, cool. So GT. There's a C63 there.
C63.
How much did that end up going for?
It didn't sell.
Didn't sell.
It's just on. They're asking. It's just like it's not up for auction. It's one of the. I think they call it a consignment. They just leave it at the front. 55 grand, 80,000 Ks. They're asking. So 55,000 plus fees.
Plus fees, yeah. I mean, you're
looking at probably 60K. It's I think 2012 model.
I mean, you could buy a brand new Focus RS for that.
I know.
Which is I know where my money would be heading.
It's a good debate that I was talking to Paul about recently.
Oh, so okay. Well, for the same money as a Focus RS, what would you buy?
Look, I know that the German cars are expensive to run, and when they're under warranty, it's fine. It's only when the warranty expires.
See you later.
And it's not mechanical things. Usually, it's the electrics.
Yeah.
For example, with my BMW, I thought BMW will be using Bosch, but it turns out that it's using some sort of brand called Delphi.
Delphi, oh yeah, Delphi's been around a long time though.
Delphi, I think, yeah, and Bosch do copy Delphi, I believe, in some cases.
In that case, how come Toyota is using Bosch and never breaks down really?
Well, I don't know. Well, my laser has a Mitsubishi part in there, so
everyone's
using everything. It's weird. Aircon, yeah.
It was Mitsubishi and Hitachi as well.
Hitachi, yeah. I've got Denso in I think that's my air conditioning compressor, and it's weird all these companies using all different parts, but yeah, see that's weird. You'd think they'd use Bosch parts in a BMW.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Same in Mercedes. Maybe some parts are Bosch, but others aren't.
Well, I'm gonna have to suss my W124 out now, the Benzo, and see where the parts are.
If it's probably an old car,
it's an old one. Yeah,
you'll be using proper good parts. But if it's a new car, everything's made to a price.
It is, yes.
And this is why I believe, and a lot of people think it's a bit of a conspiracy theory that they don't want you to replace. They don't want you to replace oil because they want you, for example, in your gearbox or transmission, they want you to replace the whole transmission. Mm-hmm. Same with the diff, same with 2 years and 25,000 kilometer services for your engine.
Yeah, that's a joke.
It's a very true concept. You can base it on this company in the 80s called Quantum, and they made washing machines.
Uh-huh.
Right, this company came out. They had a really good few years of running. They sold heaps of washing machines, and these things were basically bulletproof. They didn't have any faults, no returns, no warranties. Right? Oh. The company went broke in 5 years. Why?
No one would be buying parts. No one would be
exactly. Their parts, their machines were that good.
Yeah.
They had no revenue come back. They would just sell a machine and keep going, and they'd make all these parts, and no one wants them because the parts are unbreakable.
Well, you see, it's called planned obsolescence. I mean, Apple are the kings at doing it. Oh, you've got an iPhone 6.6s. We've got the 7 now. You're out of date, and we're not going to support you. So you're gonna have to get the new one.
Exactly, yeah, we'll give you better software that will run slower.
Slower, yeah. It's all planned.
Because I was trying to get what do you call it? Like the stone chip protector for the bonnet of the MPS.
Yeah.
There was one for sale in I think it was Braybrook.
Yeah.
It was a Mazda dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's sold. And I called him up. I'm like, what's going on? Is there any left? He goes, Japan doesn't have any. We don't have any. They've discontinued the part.
Well, there you go. That's
crazy. He goes. They make a limited amount, and they approximate that the parts will be provided to service the car for this many years.
Yeah.
And then after that, they just don't make parts. They make aftermarket parts.
See, I've had the same issue with Mazda recently. My Laser's gearbox went, and like I lost third gear. The synchros had it. It's done 260,000 kilometers. So I'm like, okay. My mechanic's like, look, I'll rebuild it for you. I'll put on all new synchros, all new gears, this and the other. He calls me. He's like, I can get the bearings. He's like, because you can get the bearings from any bearing wholesaler. But he's like, the gears, they don't sell them anymore. I'm like, what do you mean they don't sell them? This car is sold. It's the same, pretty much the same gearbox internally as the 1.8, the 2 liter. Yeah, the SP20 and all that. And this car was sold all over the world, like in Mazda form. How does a company like Mazda not support that? And they're like you just don't have it. So I had to go to a wreckers. I spoke to a good contact I know, and I got one with 120,000 Ks for $350, which is pretty good considering some people want $800 for like close to 200. So it's. Yeah, like I mean, it's planned obsolescence, 100%. Like they said, okay, well, you're not going to be able to fix it, buy a new car because we're not going to support you with the parts anymore. And I've had the same thing with Mercedes in the early 2000s. They had their electrical systems that were planned just to fail after like 10 years, so you could go and buy a new Mercedes, and they got
biodegradable looms.
Yeah, biodegradable looms. That's exactly right. So I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah, there's still looms
bad
for sale on eBay for the 124 shape.
Yeah.
I'm talking like C36, C230s, E230s.
Yeah,
like,
all that stuff.
all that old school stuff, which is like some pretty cool cars in that range.
Yeah,
and it's a shame that there's these conveniences that happen.
Unfortunately, these days it's not just the wiring looms; it's the whole car.
Yeah.
And talking about your gearbox, if you pay $350 for the second-hand gearbox, that's a lot cheaper than rebuilding your own.
Exactly right. Like, but I wanted to rebuild mine because obviously, so I know it's good, but it's got all brand new gears and everything. But I'm like, well, now I can't do it. So next best option is going for a low kilometer second-hand one. But then again, you don't know. So if this one goes, well, it comes with a 6-month warranty. So if anything happens within 6 months, I can get another one. But it's just a pain in the backside.
From second to fourth, man.
First to fifth, mate. Red line first, into fifth. But yeah, it's just weird. Like your car companies, everyone's doing it, and it's not just car companies. So,
but I think on a Ford Laser that's done 260,000 Ks, spending a lot of money on a rebuilt gearbox.
Yeah,
it may not be the best deal. I think second hand.
Touch me, man. The tofu at the top of the mountain is worth it.
Look, that car has been absolutely brilliant. It's I drive my car and I drive it hard, but I look after it. It's always maintained. It's serviced, every 8,000 Ks, and it's been the best daily driver. The car has never gone wrong once. Touch wood. That was like the first thing properly to really kind of fail, and it was still drivable. I just couldn't use third. I was going first, second, fourth. So. I mean, it was a bit weird. So as soon as you put it into third, it just keep popping out. But yeah, pretty much. And it felt like the car would broke. It was just like, holy crap, what the hell happened? But oh yeah, I don't have third gear.
Sean Lilly had that problem too, so it's not
Big ups to Sean.
He had that problem.
Oh, but see, he had his gearbox rebuilt and it's stuffed up again.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's where you go, I guess.
Maybe it'll be funny. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe they just put new oil in it and said, "See you later."
Very common.
Oh yeah, well, the worst part about that was I had the clutch done. I kid you not, a month before it happened, and then the gearbox they changed my gearbox fluid, and it was fine. And I'm like, yeah, the car was driving the best it's ever driven, and then it just started popping. I'm like, oh my god! Of all the times, couldn't the gearbox have died 3 weeks prior, so I could have just done it in the one hit, instead of costing me a complete arm and a leg, which was a lot of money.
Talking about reliable cars, I have spoken to a friend of mine a few days ago. He's got one of the early, I believe it's an FG Falcon 2008.
2008, that's an early one, yeah.
And it's just car that runs on gas from factory with 4-speed automatic transmission. He's done He's done about 160, 180,000 Ks. He only replaced one gasket for water that cost him a couple of dollars in the entire time in the Falcon.
Those cars are taxis from day one.
They're built.
Nothing ever broke down on that car.
Wow, that's incredible. That's insane.
And just about 2 weeks ago, he's replaced rear shoes. So not rear pads.
Pads. Oh, okay, wow. He hasn't had to do diff pushers? Diff pushers are common in them, yeah. Wow.
Nothing. He didn't even machine the discs.
Just put new pads
He just put new pads in. And there's no shutter, no problems. He just drives the car.
Wow. My mum had a, it was the best car she ever owned, she reckons. She had a BA Mark II E-Gas, LPG Falcon, just XT, poverty pack base model. And it did 270,000 Ks, that car did. And it was the best car. The only ever, she only had one leak, and it was the power steering high pressure hose. Had sprung a little leak. She's like, I want to change that. Like my car.
That's somewhat common.
That's common in them. So she had that changed. Car never missed a beat. And then someone ran a yellow and wrote it off, and T-boned it. And my mum was shattered. She's like, I love that bloody car. So she's got a Mazda 3 now, which has been okay. It's a BL. It's been a bit funny. A couple of little things here and there, ABS sensors and.
I remember the Camry you had.
Man, that Camry was a tank. James remembered the Camry that I had. That Camry was the best.
I'm still sad it's gone.
I'm sad it's gone. And it was a Camry, but it was V6.
Facebook photo, mate.
That was my Facebook photo for years. Actually, it was geez, I was looking back. I was such a teeny bopper, but it was a good little car. It bet the Commodores and Falcons of my high school friends. So that was always a good laugh.
Have you driven the latest Camry?
I've driven the model before. I was impressed. It was a nice car to drive, but I haven't driven the latest one.
I have driven the latest one at work. I believe it uses a 4-cylinder 2.5 litre with automatic transmission. It drove pretty. The engine was good.
They're quick cars.
Yeah, it was.
They're very quick cars.
Yeah.
I was surprised how quick it was with, I think, 133 kilowatts.
Yeah.
But it was quick for a car like...
No, four.
Right.
4-cylinder, yeah.
So, it was good.
Paul, please don't think about it.
So, but...
no way, I wouldn't buy one.
They're bringing the Orion's finishing this year, so they're going to bring the V6 Camry back again, which is the States have. Those V6 Camrys are like, under 7 seconds to 100. They're quick cars.
3.5 litres.
3.5 litres, yeah. So they definitely go good. I love the quad cam V6 engines.
I was very surprised why Toyota is not going to put the 2.5 litre Camry engine into Corolla.
Yeah.
That would be very, very good.
It'd be very quick.
I'm wondering why Mazda doesn't even make another MBS. So. That's another topic.
That's a topic for. Well, we spoke about this. It was just it was a terrible decision on Mazda's part. But
what do you have to say?
Well, I do have a 2013 Corolla, and it's up till date. It's the best car that I've ever had, and that was my first car that I ever owned. And till now it's. Literally, I haven't done nothing to it. I haven't changed anything to it. The only recent thing that I had was a recall on the fuel plate that I think they had. So I just got that. Apparently, it could have cracked, and the crack could have got a bit bigger, and then an explosion could have happened internally.
Holy crap!
Yeah, internally. That's what I got told. So
the jihadist.
So no, the next day I called them up. I tried to get whichever was the quickest one. I tried to get them to replace it, and I got it done at the Essendon Toyota. And
if Essendon afford that.
And the Essendon Toyota, and in probably an hour's time they changed it, and everything's all good. Yeah,
sweet as.
It is due for a service for a long time, but I haven't got around to that.
Well, look, we're out of time tonight. We didn't get around to talking about, buying a new car or buying a second-hand car. That can be probably next week's topic. We'll keep that for next week. But thanks again, guys, for coming. Thanks, James.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Tyron.
No worries. Cheers.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you, James, again from Memphis Movies.
Thank you.
So this has been Car Talk with Matty J. Check out our Facebook page. It's CarTorque, TORQUE, with Matty J for all our updates. We've also got we're updating on Instagram. So it's Car Talk with Matty J _CarTalk. Also, keep an eye on our Shout Engine page. So if you've missed any of our previous podcasts, go to shoutengine.com and type in Car Talk with Manager. You'll see all our episodes there. And also, we're on iTunes as well. So if what is it, James? Subscribe, review, and rate.
Yeah, subscribe, rate, and review.
Yeah, there you go. So for our iTunes, get us up higher on the iTunes charts, which would be really, really freaking amazing.
Hashtag not the Bachelor.
Hashtag not the Bachelor, because I want to complain to Channel 10, man. This is an outrage.
Not the Bachelor. Get it right.
The Buster. Well, thank you again, guys, for coming on. Thanks again for listening. I will see you same time next week. This has been CarTorque with Matty J. Take it easy.
This is professional radio, gentlemen.
And it's front-wheel drive.
Scotty, have you got anyone you want to thank?
Just myself.
And now we do the after hours. Dun, dun, dun.
Gentlemen, what would you go for?
Dacia Sandero.
Okay, and because it's not a supercar.
But it is.
It's not.
Automotive perfection comes in the form of two letters, A and U.
Long live my LTD!